Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Physiology Learning. Today we will continue our discussion with basal ganglia, and primarily today we are going to discuss about the diseases of basal ganglia, and here we will pay more attention to the Parkinson's disease. So we are discussing the CNS lecture under which the motor system is being discussed. We were discussing the basal ganglia wherein we have completed the nuclei, primary connections as well as the motor control of basal ganglia. Today it is going to be the diseases of basal ganglia. Now coming to the diseases of basal ganglia nuclei, we have studied several nuclei. Some of them are particularly involved in some of the diseases. So this has been asked in various MCQs also. For example, the caudate nucleus is involved in Huntington's chorea. It is also a type of movement disorder which we will study in detail in further videos. Then lenticular nucleus. Lenticular nucleus is involved in Wilson's disease. Lenticular nucleus is involved in Wilson's disease. Then coming to the subthalamic nucleus. Subthalamic nucleus is primarily involved in hemibalismus. This hemibalismus is like a flinging kind of movement which usually happens in one half of the body. That's why it is called as hemibalismus. Then coming to the most important discussion for today, that is substantia nigra, which is involved in Parkinson's disease. So we will pay our attention here that Parkinson's disease is our discussion today. So coming to the biochemical basis of any basal ganglia disease. For any basal ganglia disease, we always said that it is motor control is very important, and there are three major pathways which are controlling this motor control, and these three pathways include nigrostriatal dopaminergic system. This nigrostriatal pathway starts from the substantia nigra and it goes to the striatum, and this is one of the most important system involved in Parkinson's disease. Then comes the intrastriatal cholinergic system, then comes the GABAergic system from the striatum to the globus pallidus and substantia nigra. This already we have discussed all these pathways, and whenever there is an imbalance in these pathways, what will happen? There will be a movement disorder. This movement disorder can be a hyperkinetic movement disorder as well as a hypokinetic movement disorder. So whenever there is imbalance, both hyper as well as hypokinetic movements will be seen. Even in the same disease, there can be hyperkinetic movements also and hypokinetic movements also. So coming to the disease of today, that is Parkinson's disease. So what is Parkinson's disease? Parkinson's disease is nothing but a neurodegenerative disease. Here there is degeneration of some neuronal pathway, and all of us know which pathway is defect. The nigrostriatal pathway is at defect. This disease was identified by the scientist James Parkinson, and that's why the name is given Parkinson's disease. He initially called this disease as paralysis agitans, but right now it is called as Parkinson's disease only. Now it is the first disease to be identified as a neurotransmitter deficient disease. So what is the neurotransmitter deficient here? The neurotransmitter deficient here is dopamine. Now coming to the pathogenesis of Parkinson's disease. What happens in Parkinson's disease? All of us know it is a problem with substantia nigra. Which part of substantia nigra? Specifically the pars compacta part. And this nigrostriatal pathway goes from substantia nigra pars compacta to the striatum. And even in the striatum, we have two nuclei, that is the caudate and putamen. That is the caudate and putamen. Out of this putamen fibers are mostly affected. So the substantia nigra pars compacta, which is going to the putamen, is getting affected predominantly. And there is some deposition of inclusion bodies which are also called as Levy bodies. Because of this deposition, the neuronal transmission is affected in these patients. What happens in this Parkinson's disease? Already we have discussed in the motor control system. There are two pathways. One is the direct pathway, another one is the indirect pathway. In normal situation, direct pathway is activated and indirect pathway is inhibited. But what happens in Parkinson's disease? It is just the reverse happens. Here the direct pathway is inhibited and the indirect pathway is activated. So what will happen? There will be coordination mismatch with that of the thalamus. This coordination with the thalamus is completely lost now. So this will produce various kinds of symptoms in the patients. So let's try to understand what are the symptoms. So what happens here is there will be bradykinesia, there is resting tremor, and there is rigidity. This forms a classical triad of Parkinson's disease. Sometimes the bradykinesia can be so severe and it can lead to akinesia, that is there is absence of movement. And this rigidity can be of two types, which is a lead pipe rigidity and cogwheel rigidity. So what happens in this lead pipe rigidity? Rigidity is a term used when there is involvement of both flexors and extensors. There is hypertonia in both the flexor group as well as the extensor group. And lead pipe, all of us know, when we try to bend the lead pipe, what will happen is there will be an uniform resistance throughout the movement. This kind of uniform resistance throughout the movement is called as lead pipe rigidity. And what happens in cogwheel rigidity? Cogwheel rigidity, what happens is there will be a place of intermittent resistance followed by intermittent relaxations. So the movement will be in multiple phases. This type of rigidity is called as cogwheel rigidity. And the resting tremor also happens. Resting tremor means even at rest of the patient, he is having some tremors and he will be having pill roll movements. The person will be looking like as if he is rolling a pill in his hand. It is a kind of resting tremor. And what happens to his gait? There is specific term for this gait called as festinant gait. This is very, very important. So what is festinant gait? Festinant gait is nothing but the patient will be having a stoop posture and he will be having short shuffling gaits. This type of gait is very, very typical in Parkinson's disease. Just when we look at the patient, it is like a spot diagnosis. We can diagnose the patient just by looking at it. And the facies of the patient is called as Parkinson's facies. Here it will become like a masked facies or little expressionless faces. So these are the classical features of Parkinson's disease. Now coming to the treatment part of Parkinson's disease. So what is the problem in Parkinson's disease? The problem is with the dopamine. So what can we do? We can give dopamine itself in the form of levodopa and carbidopa. This forms the primary treatment. Other than this, we have several treatments like dopamine agonist, which are apomorphine, bromocriptine and ropinirole. These are another group of dopamine agonists which can be tried in this patient. Then we have COMT inhibitors, which is the entacapone and tolacapone. Then we also have the monoamine inhibitors, which is the selegiline. These are the drug options which are involved in the Parkinson's disease. But the primary treatment option is nothing but the levodopa and carbidopa. Some other forms of treatment are also being tried in this patient, which includes the deep brain stimulation and dopamine mini pumps. Here they are trying to implant some dopamine mini pumps in the basal ganglia of the patient. Now let's summarize all the basal ganglia. All the basal ganglia, we have 5 nucleus, that is the caudate, putamen, globus pallidus, subthalamic nucleus and substantia nigra. And here caudate is involved in Huntington's disease, putamen and the globus pallidus are involved in Wilson's disease, subthalamic nucleus was involved in hemibalismus, and we have seen that subthalamic nucleus is the only one which is giving an excitatory output, which is the glutamate. Rest all gives the inhibitory outputs. Then substantia nigra is involved in the Parkinson's disease, especially the pars compacta part, and the neurotransmitter involved here is the dopamine. So all these are very, very important. And usually the substantia nigra excites the direct pathway and inhibits the indirect pathway. And coming to the classical triad of Parkinson's disease, it is bradykinesia, rigidity and resting tremor. So this is a short summary of all the basal ganglia. I hope it's clear. Thank you for listening. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.